Okay, great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your sponsorship. I think you're going to have a lot of fun this afternoon. We've already talked to our Global Business Council meeting, and I've given them an alert that we've got some great speakers from all different parts. Each speaker will be speaking for about 15, 20 minutes, and then there'll be a time for questions and then more questions afterwards. So we'll get started right away. And I'm going to put this down. And feel free, when you have questions, raise your hands. And again, thank you. How do you put this in here? And I'll figure it out. There we go. Okay, actually, I'm going to just hold this up. All righty. First off, we have Ed Eakin, and Ed, thank you so much for joining us today. Ed is the owner and broker of the Eakin Group, serving Texas, Mexico, Belize, and beyond with a dedicated team of realtors. As an NAR CIPS member, congratulations, and instructor, Ed has been instrumental in enhancing global real estate expertise and professionalism. His active participation in all CIPS Zoom meetings underscores his commitment to the community. His involvement in the real estate industry is extensive. He chaired the Global Committee of the Houston Association of Realtors, HAR, in 2019 and was honored as a 2022 Global Realtor of the Year at the Metro Tex Association of Realtors in Dallas. Additionally, he serves as a global ambassador at the Austin Board of Realtors, highlighting his dedication to advancing global real estate practices. In 2023, Ed held director positions at Metro Tex, Texas Realtors, the National Association of Realtors, and the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. It showcased his leadership within the real estate community. Currently, as a regional vice president at Texas Realtors, moreover, as ANAR Global Ambassador to Belize, Barbados, Trinidad, and Tobago. He fosters strong international connections and promotes best practices in real estate. Ed, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to your presentation.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for the invitation to share Mexico and global real estate, which is something that I really love doing. You know, I have the CIPS background in my deal here, and I will tell everybody, earning my CIPS really was the start to my global adventure. It's opened up so many doors. So if you don't have your CIPS, it's worth getting your CIPS. And as I tell all my friends here in Texas, I got my CIPS to sell pretty beaches around the world. What I didn't realize was the world was moving to Texas and how CIPS was going to help me with incoming referrals. So look on the NAR website under CIPS, and you'll see the schedule of all the CIPS institutions that are being taught around the world. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if this works. Share. Hold on one second. Hopefully we're in good shape there. Okay. Here today we're to talk about Mexico. I lived in Playa del Carmen for a couple of years back in 2009 to 2010, and left there to come back to the States and actually get my real estate license. But while I was in Mexico, I was working on site for a developer there in Playa del Carmen. Today, I'm going to share some facts that I'm sure will be mentioned again among my friends that will follow me. So we'll just go ahead and get started. Okay, hold on, sorry. Okay, reasons to buy in Mexico. Mexico is a trove of rich history, vibrant traditions, and diverse cultures. Ranks as the 5th largest in the Americas and 14th globally. Its land has vast opportunities. Sharing a border with the U.S., Mexico's unique location is perfect for those seeking to blend accessibility and exotic escapades. More reasons. Boom in real estate, range of properties from beachfront villas to city condos in Mexico. Great exchange rates, and because there are great exchange rates, it often benefits Americans' buying power. Remote work flexibility, work from anywhere in Mexico. Internet's good, the infrastructure's great, so there's tons of Americans that are actively working in Mexico with jobs in the US. Lifestyle perks, tons of great lifestyle perks. The culture is just incredible. The food throughout Mexico, some of the best, around. The scenery, man, if you like beaches, they have what I consider some of the prettiest beaches in the world. If you'd rather be in mountains, they have some great mountain opportunities. So you get a little bit of everything traveling through Mexico. Stability, Mexico's steady economy encourages secure investments. Why is Mexico a hotspot for real estate investors? The economy is growing. The world is moving to Mexico. Political security, for the first time in the history of Mexico, a female was voted president. So things are changing in Mexico. Currency advantage, like I said, the value of the Mexican peso often enhances purchasing power for foreign investors in real estate. Real estate accessibility, man, from A to Z, from buying $20,000 lots to $99,000 studio condos to $20 million lots up the East Cape. Everything, I mean, there's just a huge range of opportunity depending on what you want. Tourism. A lot of people don't know that the #1 theme park is in the Riviera Maya, right next door to where my buddy or my brother Chris Gill lives. Escarot, it's voted the #1 theme park. So the world is going to the theme park. They also have the world's largest water park in the area. Cenotes, hiking. I mean, there's just tons of things. Scuba, snorkeling. That's what brings all the people from around the world. Tons of golfers go to Mexico. In Cabo, I often refer to Cabo as the Pebble Beach of Mexico. Some of the best golf courses in the world designed by the best designers. Favorable laws. The legal framework supports real estate ownership. They make it easy to do it with help. Emerging markets. Tulum, the Riviera Maya are two of my favorites. I'm actually building a few condos right now with my brother Chris there in Tulum. Other great markets is Merida, which was voted the safest city in the world last year, along with Cabo, Huatulco, Mexico City. I mean, there's just so many awesome choices in Mexico. Closing costs, down payment, initial property purchase payment. This varies depending on what you're buying and if it's new versus something under construction. Loan fees, charges there for loan processing. Loans have not been something that has been readily available, I would say, for consumers from the US buying in Mexico, but now they're starting to become more and more companies that are loaning money to Americans buying in Mexico. Inspection and appraisal, property evaluation cost, there's an acquisition tax, legal fees, everything's done through a notary, similar to what is done by title companies here in the US. Common closing costs, agent fees vary from market, share between listing and buyer's agent, loan settlements to clear all loans, liens, mortgages, taxes to cover transfer and capital gains taxes, lien-free certificate, proof of the public property registry of no debt, appraisals, cost of evaluating the property. Some things that I like to share. I have a lot of customers that like to surf. So they're asking me, where are the places, if I want to live in Mexico and surf every morning, where do I move to? Here's some of our favorites: Todos Santos, Cerritos Beach. They're about 20 miles apart. Scorpion Bay, Pescadero, Zippers. There's tons of places throughout Mexico to surf. Next up, my favorite, golf. As you can see, these are absolutely some of my favorite golfing opportunities in Baja California. And then also listed some really great courses there in the Riviera Maya, including Iberostar and El Chameleon, I should say. That's where they host a PGA Tour event every year and a couple of others. Marinas, sorry about that. Marinas, A lot of us, and a lot of y'all probably have clients, especially in Florida, that have boats. So often I get asked about boat slips. Can you buy boat slips? Do you rent boat slips? And I will tell you that varies, you know, around the country. So just depending on where your clients are looking, find the right person to help. Last but least, all my designations, CIPS again is my favorite designation. That QR code goes to my website. So if anybody has any questions, take a screenshot of this page. And I think that's about all that I can say. So I will pass it on to whoever's next. Just try to get out of
Alrighty, how
this.
about some questions for Ed? Thank you, Ed. That's wonderful. Gets us started. Yes, Lori. Could you hear that, Ed? What are the acquisition costs average? And the tax, pardon me.
I will let Chris answer that. He will probably be able to answer that the best, or even Yadi.
Okay, Christy.
Yes, for acquisition tax, every county has its percentage. Usually in Baja California Sur is 2%. It changes from other states. Here is 2%. Usually the total closing costs around, it would be 5.5%, including the tax acquisition.
Yeah,
Christy,
and
your
I'll
question.
probably just add on. So
Go ahead, Chris.
I'll probably add on to what Jadida says, which the average is around 2%. Some of the closing costs in Mexico are total fixed costs. So you will find a small variable where the highest price point properties will have a lowest percentage closing cost. And obviously low price properties will have slightly higher than 6% closing cost.
Christy, you had a question about, would he put the golf course list again? Okay, we've got that. How about some other questions for Ed? I've got one. Oh, go ahead, Beth. Pardon me. No, go ahead, please. Ed, could you hear that? She asked what type of property do people buy? Is it a single family home? Is it a condo, or what type of home? You there?
If you want, I can answer that, Fred. I'm not sure if that is just freezed out, but it does depend a lot on the destination. No, tourism destinations, for example, such as Riviera Maya, the type of property can be the Airbnb type condominium seeking for a passive income, or they could be luxury real estate. So we got two different markets there. And then we do have as well gated communities that cater the retiree needs. Remember, we are one of the #1 destinations in the world for US retirees. People are using the self-directed IRA to buy properties in Mexico. So there are different lines on real estate market, and definitely the condos are one of them for those seeking Airbnb passive income. Luxury real estate, Jadi can talk all about luxury real estate. Cabos is huge on amazing properties, beachfront properties, and last but not least, gated communities where you get more an assisted type living services, no? I'm not sure if that answered.
Yeah, and I would agree with Chris. I think a lot of it depends on the area of Mexico. Playa and Tulum, you got a lot of vertical stuff versus in Cabo, you have a lot of big developments with big houses. You know, they're tied to golf courses. So it really just depends. I have some clients that I'm working with the client right now. His main deal, he says, find me the boat slip. And then we will look at property around the boat slip. And he's got a 100-foot yacht boat. So, you know, that there's a lot of places that can't handle a 100-foot yacht. So, so yeah, it varies. But there's all the golf courses. I will say Quivira Country Club is on top of a mountain. It's designed by Jack Nicklaus. Man, that's as good as it gets. You see water or the ocean on 14 of the golf holes. It's pretty spectacular. Desante Bay is up in Loreto, Mexico. An unbelievable development that's going up in Loreto. That golf course is special, but all these golf courses are really nice. Any other questions?
Yes, Linda?
And I'm not hearing the question, so you're gonna have to repeat
Yeah,
it.
she's, just a second. Yes, what? Oh, yes. Are there particular areas that are favored by American expats?
Yes,
Like we
there's
hear
a,
about- Go
yeah,
ahead.
there are a ton of expats throughout Mexico. I think I remember growing up as a kid, my dad would always say he wanted to retire in Lake Chapala. And, you know, that was one of the first areas where all the Americans were moving to. But man, living in Playa del Carmen, I will tell you, it took me all of about a week to know where all the Americans were going Monday night for a cheeseburger and to listen to John sing. On Wednesday nights, you went for all you could eat pasta and listen to Sally sing. So, man, the expats are all over. Ton of expats, obviously, in Cabo, and that's probably due to golf. But the Riviera Maya, man, there's a ton there. And then Huatulco is another area where I'm getting asked a lot of questions, and more people seem to be asking about Merida and Mexico City. Just really, you know, I ask my clients when they call me and say, hey, where do you want, or we're looking for something in Mexico. And it's like, well, what do you like to do in your spare time? And that's, you know, where I'm going to push the areas that might be catered. So if they're golfers or if they're, saltwater fishermen, Cabo's pretty, you know, good place to be. If it's more being in the water and enjoying the beach, man, the Riviera Maya, Playa, Tulum, Cancun, all those have beautiful beaches. So really just depends.
Yes, over there. Are
But we
there
don't have-
restrictions? Oh,
Yeah,
can you
go
hear
ahead.
the? Are there restrictions on short-term rentals and HOAs and that type of thing in Mexico?
I would say Mexico loves short-term rentals. It brings in tourists, it brings in money that is feeding the economy. So they love short-term rentals. I personally haven't seen any restrictions in any of the developments that I'm working on with short-term rentals. Everybody's doing them. In fact, most developers like Chris, they have a management program for their buyers. And it's real simple. You put your property into the management program and they take care of it all.
Yeah, I'll probably just add on, Ed, just to say that most communities do allow short-term rentals. As you say, it's a huge source for passive income to many of the buyers, international buyers that allow that income to pay off pretty much the cost of maintenance of their own condo and make a profit out of it at the end of the year. But there are certain luxury real estate communities that will have restrictions. So I always say, you know what? There are all kinds of opportunities out there. Just ask, you know, if your intention is to do short-term rentals, make sure your agent knows or the developer is informed, because certain communities, very few high-end communities will not allow short-term rentals, but it's very limited. Just ask.
One other thing, Ed, now your business is, do you have a license in Mexico? How do you handle your business since you're based in Dallas?
Well, no, I do not have license in Mexico as of yet. We're actually working on that. I have a great partner. She may be on this Zoom today. That's been a broker in Cabo for 50 years, and she's kind of my go-to. So we work with her, you know, to help our clients. At the same time, I am working on my license, and I do real estate in a bunch of different other countries, Belize, Barbados, Trinidad, and a lot of these other countries, there is no licensing. And when I first moved to Mexico, I always used to joke, if you had a mobile phone, you could be a realtor. And having a car was a bonus, because most realtors were showing real estate out of taxi cabs back when I lived in Playa. That has changed, and AMPI, which is the NAR of Mexico, they are working to get everybody licensed in their country. So
Does most of your business then come from referrals to these other countries, since you are a global ambassador to Belize and Barbados, et cetera? Do you see a
Yes.
lot of business going to those countries as well?
Yes, so all my business for the most part is referrals. We do a ton of stuff on social media to promote what we do, but I mean, man, all my calls for wherever come from, oh, somebody told me you do real estate in Belize. And they told me that, you would be happy to help us. So yes, all of my stuff comes from referrals from other CIPSs. And then there's a couple of other luxury groups that I'm a part of, including Realm, REALM, which there's quite a few realtors from Florida in Realm. Their claim to fame, I guess, is it's a group of realtors that are in the top 1% of realtors in the world. And then I'm also part of AREA, not ARIA, which I'm a member of ARIA too, but AREA is another pretty exclusive group. And so many of my referrals come within those groups that I'm a part of. I
Hey,
can't
wonderful.
stress how important it is to join AREA, NAREP, ARIA. I mean, there's just so many out there, and it really has paid off being a part of those groups.
I noticed you've got a lot of designations, which is kudos to you. That's fabulous. And I also know it's wonderful. All four of you speakers all know each other. I think it's because of a blend of all your businesses in Mexico. So any other questions for Ed? Oh, got some more. Yes.
Cost of living in every place you practice? Where's the
Uh,
best? My
yeah.
girlfriend's mother moved to San Miguel de Allende, and her cost of living there is awesome.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing throughout Mexico. When I lived in Mexico, I had somebody come clean my 2-story condo every day, charged me $6 a day, and always brought me a plate of food. And I told her all the time, I said, man, I eat out every day. Please only bring me one plate a week. But for $6 a day, she did an amazing job. And, medication. I can't talk enough about medication. There's a ton of Americans going and stocking up on medication and bringing it back. I mean, the savings there, it's crazy. There's a particular drug I take for being a diabetic. It's $500 a month here in the US. And in Mexico, I buy it for like $45 a month. Same box, same brand, and same results. So, medication. And then, there's a ton of medical tourism going over to Mexico. Obviously, a lot of people are going to get a crown replaced or a crown installed. The cost in Mexico versus the US, man, it's 25-30% of what it costs in the US. So cost of living across Mexico is spectacular. And at the same time, if you want to spend money, there's plenty of places where you can go spend all the money you want on a great dinner or a great excursion. But overall, the cost of living, I think that's one of the biggest reasons Americans move outside the US, whether it be Mexico or Belize or Ecuador. All these Latin American countries really make it really, so many benefits for retired people on a budget. And I love San Miguel. Just, it's a little far from a beach for me, but what a great city.
Now, one question with the medical, they don't take US medical services there, do they? Don't you have to provide your own or pay for your own? Is that correct?
I'm going to say there are insurances there that you can purchase. And there are certain people from America, their insurance coverage goes to Mexico. So yeah, I think there's some availability there. Chris and Brenda and Yadi might have more to say about that.
Great. And we have
In
another
the-
question.
In the state at the north zone of the country, Baja California and Baja California Sur, we do take insurances, American insurance, and sometimes even they send a helicopter or an airplane to pick them up and take them to Houston or LA hospitals in case they need to surgery or something. But we have enough hospitals and clinics like ready to serve any kind of issue. And we do have also a Mexican insurance that sell to Americans with a very affordable price.
Well, when I worked in Mexico and lived in Mexico, the company I worked for paid for a service in case of an emergency if I needed to be flown out, for medical stuff. they guaranteed a flight out immediately. So I think it was something, this was a long time ago, but it was less than $600 a year, maybe. So I'm sure it's still around.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on, it's the same coverage you would have if you travel as a tourist any part of the world. There are great hospitals, and I think that's a key factor to mention. I mean, we have amazing private hospitals that take all kinds of insurance. Don't forget, we are a hot tourism destination, so we are very well prepared for the masses to arrive, and in case of any emergency, to take care of these medical issues. One of the things that's a huge trend is the fact that when you buy a property as a US citizen in Mexico, it allows you to make in a very easy manner, or gives you access in a very easy manner to the permanent residency. Permanent residency in Mexico is not a visa process, it's more an administrative process. So you obtain the permanent residency, and after that you can actually have access as an expat to private medical insurance. And the funny thing, and that's why it's a huge trend, is the fact that many of the companies that represent or that provide the services in the US are present in Mexico, but they probably are half the price, if not more. So to give you an average cost on medical insurance, full premium coverage for 2 adults and a kid, you're looking into $4,000 a year. And that gives you full coverage. I know many of us pay that a month. So people are buying properties to get access to this kind of medical insurance in Mexico too.
And I often share with my clients, they ask me, are the doctors good in Mexico? And living in Mexico, I had a couple of friends, including myself, had a need for a doctor. And man, there are a lot of doctors, or maybe the majority of the doctors get their medical license in the US and they just move back to paradise to be close to their family and take care of their family. So, you know, the doctors in Mexico are amazing.
Okay, and I believe we have one more question here.
What are the restrictions or guidelines for an American citizen to buy an investment property in Mexico?
Yes, you're buying it through a trust. And this vehicle is a very safe vehicle for Americans to purchase real estate. A bank holds the trust. You can rent the trust, you can sell the trust, you can lease the trust, you can set it up where if something was to happen to you, it can be, you know, forwarded to your partners, to your kids. It's a very easy process to get done, and it can be transferred. And at the end of 50 years, you renew it. And I'm sure Chris or Yadi will talk more about that. But yes, it's a very safe vehicle to purchase.
Can I add something? Yes, the trust is not required in every place. It's only 50 kilometers from the coast and 100 kilometers from the international borders. And only in those areas that are the restricted areas, you need to have a trust. Other areas, you don't need it. Also, you need to have a permit, and maybe Yadi can help me here. I think you have to have a permit from the ministry, ministries of the country, something like that.
Minister Affairs permit. Yes, in the mainland, all the like San Miguel de Allende, Guadalajara, Chapala, all those areas in the mainland, as long as it's not in the coast and in the borders. It's just by the Article 27 in the Mexican law. And other than that, with a trust or a Mexican corporation, you can own it. I mean, you can make the use, and you can heritage, you can put it also, use it as a will. It works as a California family trust. It's just the same way to acquire.
Okay. Any other questions then? All right, well, Ed, thank you so much. Please give Ed a round of applause. This is wonderful to get us going on our March Mexico's.
I appreciate it.
Yes, yes, thank you. Now we're going to hear from Yadira Bataz. She is with Net Seekers International. She studied marketing and advertising at the Autonomous University of Guadalajara. After graduation, she moved to Hollywood to study English, business management, and film and TV production at UCLA Extension while working at the bilingual television station KGLA. In 2006, Yadira returned to Mexico and earned a degree in interior design and opened a decoration gallery while managing the family real estate business. She graduated with honors in business administration and management in 2016 and began her real estate career founding Sunshine Realty Mexico in 2018. An active member of AMPI since 2017, Yadira has served in leadership roles, including director of the AMPI Los Cabos Global Committee. Currently, she is pursuing an international PhD in political social sciences and serves as secretary of the board of directors for AMPI Los Cabos 2024, focusing on education and training for real estate professionals. She also holds several professional designations such as CIPS, Luxury Listing Specialist, ABR, and RENE. Again, thank you, Yadira, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you so much. Well, if I want to start with a video and then we go through a slideshow. Can I share, please? Somebody else is sharing the screen. Thank you. Somebody else is sharing. I can start the screen share.
Yadira, you have a presentation it's not showing, is that correct?
Yes, it's not mine, this one.
Okay, let's see
Yeah,
what we can.
someone's sharing, no?
Ed, can you stop sharing your presentation, please?
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Thank you so much.
Let's see.
You're
how
great. Just stop that.
I'm trying. Hold on.
Thank you.
Where it says share, click on it and then stop share.
You should be able to see it, Ed, within the Zoom.
Okay, well, while he's stopping sharing, Baja California Sur is the south point of the peninsula, the south side. We're in the northwest zone. Actually, we are like an island. People tell us that we're like an island because we don't produce any products here. Everything is imported from the mainland. We sell it imported because we bring it by ships or by trucks. The life in here, it's affordable more than US, yes, but it's more economic in the mainland because they produce everything. They produce all the products that we consume. So the only thing we have is seafood and vegetables, which is perfect, right? And we are in the tourist section. Basically, that's why every property that any American or foreign wants to acquire, it has to be through a trust or a Mexican corporation. Okay, Ed, you're almost there. Okay.
Yeah, now you can share.
Yes, now I
Yadira.
can share. Yeah, thank you. Share this. Can you tell me if you can hear it, please?
Soy nacido en California. Ay, ay. Ay,
Excellent. Okay, now we're going to share this spotlight on Mexico. Screen this one. Okay. Los Cabos is a luxury wellness paradise. Everybody knows that is the most desirable place in the northwest zone of Mexico. Due to its natural richness, offers visitors unique stays with pleasant flavors. Los Cabos it has a luxury atmosphere. The destination is characterized by offering wide natural setting scenarios and experiences that highlight luxury. It's a unique it has all the unique real estate properties. The use of the natural stones of the area combined with modern architectural design makes these beach homes the most desirable properties in the world. Cabo San Lucas is well known for becoming a global gastronomic reference, derived by the high quality of the food and world avant-garde, and as well as contributing to reducing environmental impact, helping with the preservation through responsible programs. We do have a lot of programs to preserve the green areas and the fauna. Certainly fish or seafood, we do it periodically, so we make sure there is enough for all of us for the rest of our lives. So we do it through the reproduction systems. Also, Mexico, well, in Net Seekers, we have the best designations in Mexico, and we do take care of the customers with a high quality treatment. If they want to come and rent a boat or buy a yacht or get in their own private plane, we do take care of that. We help them to do the reservations and set a private tour for them. Our marketing is focused in luxury beach lifestyle, fishing, golfing, tennis, and now as the Michelin top hotspot for its exceptional gastronomy. Located at the land's end of the Baja California Sur Peninsula, surrounded by the Pacific and the Gulf of California, it welcomes more than 3 million national and international visitors. The seafood products in this fishing port are unique and represents the region's identity. In Los Cabos, you will have the most magical beach vacation experience at your Mexican home. Every day, if you come on vacation or you live here, it's like a vacation experience. A lifestyle also, we do have properties in Puerto Vallarta that offers a traditional town, rich in gastronomy as well. It's more economic, the food, the living is more economic because it's on the mainland side of Mexico. It has it has international diversity and open culture. It's a place preferred and loved by the LGBT sophisticated society. That's a kind of a market that you can target to, because it's that's where they're coming now. We do have referrals program. For example, the CIPS, we do have the referrals around the world with the Net Seekers International Referrals Program. And also we encourage to have the CIPS as well, because all the realtors certifying around the world, they can send you the clients, the customer, in a very trusted resource. We believe in sharing. VIP treatment, we have personal tour for exclusive properties. If you send us a referral client, we make sure the clients have the best experience ever. And also we do offer a group or personal tour at developments. If you want to plan your trip with your friends, realtor friends, to get to know the real estate in Los Cabos, you call us and we make sure we present you the developments, so you know exactly what you can offer to your clients. It's just about you have to know the properties, right? To fall in love, and then you send it to them, or you send the publicity, or just make it public. People won't imagine what do you know, what you can sell. So just put it out there, make your publicity. We also use the Flex MLS platform, which is the most trusted resource in Baja California Sur for realtors. We offer you the best advice according to the lifestyle you want to live in Los Cabos. Like Ed said, we have from $299,000 or $250,000 condo up to $40,000, $45 million house from Beach Homes. The average is $6-8 million. That's the average. The top right now is 45. So depending of the lifestyle, the client's desire, they just need to tell them their desire, and we make sure they have what they want. We have a wide selection of global escrow services. Most of them, they are based in Texas. That's the ones that we recommend. Also, we have a lot of international accounting professional consultancy services to help people with the taxes, so you don't double tax. Also, we offer a directory of attorney at law for your Mexican corporation, in case you want to open a Mexican corporation or your trust, or your immigration services, like the ones we talked before. And also, we have a directory and relations with international loan companies, closing companies, and insurance companies. And thank you for your attention. This is my email, my cell phone, usually by phone call or WhatsApp. Internationally, we use WhatsApp because we can be everywhere in the world, and WhatsApp, it works perfectly. And that's my Instagram in case you want to follow me, and I follow you back, and we stay in touch. And that's who we are. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Beautiful, beautiful videos. Thank you. Questions? I'm sure we have some here. I have one. How do you handle your contracts? Do you have to have them written by an attorney, or can you write them up like we do here? How is that all handled? What is your process?
The contract of service with the client, or the contract with the purchase agreement contract?
Sorry. Yeah, okay, same thing as we have, okay. But, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Yes, a purchase agreement, are you able to write that, or do you have to go through an attorney?
We do have it down. We actually have a registered by Profeco, which is the law number 247, the new one from 2022. It started there. So we do have to sign an agreement, a purchase contract. Yes, by law. And we do have special ones, like we do have that by law. And we also do have a bilingual version, which is, it's okay, but we just need to sign both.
Then how long, if you want to purchase a property, how long does it take from the time that you locate that property to the time that you actually own it?
It all depends if you have cash or if you have a loan, or sometimes some of our clients are closing in US or Canada, and they're waiting for the money to get in their accounts, and they want to make them like a loan closing. Then we wait for them like 3 months, or however the client wants. We can close a property in 21 days. That's the fastest. And the longest, it's up to the clients what they want to negotiate. It's up to them and their times.
I have a question for you, please. I see you have a realtor pin on, is that correct?
What did you say again? Can you repeat that?
She's a realtor. I was wondering how long she's been an agent.
Oh, a realtor. Well, since I'm 4 years old, I'm in the business. 4 years old. My parents started a real estate business, and they start building, and then we rented. So I've been here for quite a long time. Professional way since 2016. As soon as I finished my MBA, I decided to take as a professional because I thought it was like a family business when I realized people were doing as a career. So I like the challenge of doing it for other people rather than only my family. So yeah, being a realtor.
One other quick question. The person that was on before said he doesn't have a real estate license. Can you sell real estate in Mexico without a license?
That was a great question. And actually, it was a good thing for me to hear about it, because I'm the person can help him to get it really quick. Like, I know him. I know him. I'm in charge of that right now. So I'm offering the realtors from United States. We in Los Cabos have 50% of our realtors are registered brand realtors from NAR, and they work here from Canada and United States. So sometimes they get, since 2022, they got kind of a little bit lost in translation. And right now, at this point, I'm doing some classes, some certifications for them to get their license. in here. So right now we're offering in English. If some of you want to enroll, we will have one in July 24th. And periodically, once every 2 months, we have and it's pretty easy. It's just a real estate business, what you do, but just you hear the Mexican law, the new aspects of the law. And it's pretty easy because we manage the same way that you do the closings, the escrow. We get this to see the title insurance, we get to check everything, every aspect of the property and every aspect of the transaction. Everybody has to, be okay with all the agreements. And we have due diligence time. We do have all those exactly like in United States, with just tiny difference about the Mexican law. So we offer that certification so you can get your license in 15 days from the day that you enroll. I can help you to get it really quick, and it lasts for a year, and then you have to renew it with 30 hours of certifications again. And we provide those classes as well. We help. And at AMPI, right now I'm a secretary of the board of directors, the Association of Real Estate Professionals in Los Cabos. It's a chapter, and we help realtors to get professionalized and certificate. So we do like a great referral business together.
Madeira, what is the cost of the certifications for the real estate license there in Mexico with you?
It's about 5,477 pesos right now, which is in dollars. like about-
$260 more or less.
How much again?
Around
260. $260, and there we have another one that is 250. That's another kind of that we have two types right now. The EC 1102 110.02 and the EC 0277. That's the most easy one. And then also we are offering the CIPS in December with Brenda, Ed, and Susan. If you want to come to a real estate convention, we will offer the certifications there. And we will have the real estate negotiation expert on September 30th. You can also come to Los Cabos, get your certification by the Real Estate Business Institute. And with your certification, you just send me all your application and I send it to the Secretary of Tourism and Economy. I send it to the directors of the license, and they can make as valid your license as that you did here, or any certification, you can make it as valid. But as your 30 hours of certifications. But to get your license for first times, the easiest one, the EC 0110.02, that's the cost $260. Pretty affordable. And the license costs 15,000 pesos.
Are the classes just in Spanish, or do you have any English classes as well?
We do have, actually, AMPI Los Cabos is right now the first state that asks for English classes. Yeah, we do offer, because we have half of the realtors here live half of the year, like Ed or so many colleagues we have here. They live part-time and they come and work while they're here. They bring their clients from wherever they are at home.
Ask you a question going back to what you, I believe Ed was speaking about earlier. Do you have a multiple listing system?
Yes,
there?
Flex MLS. About 20 years ago, a Canadian brought it from Canada, which is the same that you use I've seen it in Texas, I've seen it in California. I don't know what else they do have, but I know we do have that one, and the clients from Canada, they just pay their membership and they see our properties from Canada, and they just make phone calls or search on internet. But you can also check on our web pages, for example, and get our products, and you can sell those. We do now. You have the opportunity to make relations with us and make a international business together.
Another question. If someone comes down and wants to buy a $500,000 property and they want to get a loan, is there a minimum that they have or maximum that they have to put down? What is required? Is there a requirement?
The minimum for purchasing through a loan is $300,000, and usually it's 30%. 30% is it's like the average. If you want, sometimes you you can negotiate like a 20% down. But it's a negotiation, you know, with the bank. And usually I'm really good friends with the managers of the bank. So I just talk to them and they make it work for our clients. They really treat us so well, and they treat our clients very, very nice. They're willing to help. Right now they have enough money that they just want to give money.
All right, Rose has a question over here. You hear that?
No, you're gonna have to
Okay,
repeat the
what the question
Wait.
is earlier this year, we have with our Stellar MLS, where they've just initiated a system called Omni that allows us to access properties in different countries. Are you aware of that system at all?
Yes, we do have it. Actually, I purchased it about the membership about a year ago. Ross is not gonna like that I said this, but I haven't been able to use it. I haven't used it actually. Ross helped me to submit one property, and that was it. They were gonna, with a button, they said they were gonna export all my data from one side to the other. It hasn't happened we've been busy, but I'm sure I'm not gonna give up with that, because I think for the future would be great for Asia, Europe, United States of Canada, that we use different MLS. I'm not gonna give up my Flex MLS BCS. And we also are enrolling for Flex MLS Mexico. I'm just gonna get all of them. I'm not gonna give up anyone. I'm gonna keep enrolling all of them, because all of them worked. All of them works perfectly. All of them, well, that's what we use. But the most trusted realtors, we use the Flex MLS BCS.
Okay, I think we had one other question. Yes, Lori. Did you hear that? What are the interest rates there and how long are they fixed?
Right now, the smallest I've seen, 7%. The biggest I've seen is 14%. It all depends how much down payment you put in, and it all depends about the bank and your the percentage of the risk that you can have, depending on if you're single, if you have kids, no kids. It all depends about that in Mexico right now.
Any other questions? Okay, Yadira, thank you, thank you. This is wonderful. Thank you for taking your
Thank
time.
you. You're very
Really
welcome.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Our pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Brenda Taylor. She is the NAR Global Ambassador to Mexico. Brenda Pintos Taylor is a real estate professional with over 20 years of experience. She excels in working with international clients and holds various real estate leadership roles. She's endorsed by NAR as a C2EX, a graduate of the prestigious Texas Realtors Leadership Program, and has received multiple awards for her contributions to the industry. Brenda is an NAR and Texas Realtor instructor for international and diversity designations. She currently leads the Global Group, a top-ranking team at the RE/MAX Dallas suburbs, and serves as a Texas Regional Vice President and as a director at both the state and national realtor boards. She is actively involved in NAH, REP, AREAA, and AMPI Internacional. As an NAR Global Ambassador to Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, she promotes global market cooperation and brand awareness. Let's welcome Brenda Taylor.
Thank you, thank you. Well, let me try to share here my presentation, and thank you for having me here. It's always super nice to share the country of Mexico or any of the countries that I been assigned by NAR. Mexico has a special place in my heart because I am originally from Mexico. I am originally from Acapulco, where I just spent the last 2 weeks. I just got here last night, but yes, Mexico is dear, dear in my heart. So I try to connect people here in the United States to Mexico. Most of my business, when I do business there, is through a referral. Even though I know many of these places that I have lived there myself, the real estate industry is a little more complex than what we think. You really need to have knowledge not only of the area, you really need to have knowledge of the Mexican laws and everything that is involved with the transaction. They do a lot of more work than we do here. Here we are spoiled. I know one of our sponsors is a title company, but I'm telling you, I commend title companies here because they do a lot of the work. They take a lot of the U.S. realtors' work away from our hands. In Mexico, they do pretty much everything. The agents, the real estate professionals, they do a lot of the work that we don't have to do here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Brenda.
Okay. Just wanted to start with AMPI. AMPI is our bilateral partner, or is what we call NAR here in the United States. Over there is AMPI, is the Mexican Association of Professional Real Estate Agents. We do have a bilateral agreement with AMPI because if you are not familiar with what NAR agreements are around the world, we have about 78 countries and over 100 associations that we have agreements with. And we only have agreements with those associations that have a code of ethics that is compatible to NAR, and then we can trust. AMPI is not the only association in Mexico, but it's the one that NAR trusts and does business with. Location, we're going to talk about the location in Mexico, the geography, a little bit of the real estate. I didn't want to go into a lot of the tourism. I wanted to go more into the business aspects because I was sure that Ed, Addie, Daddy, and Chris were going to share a little more of their destinations that they are used to. You can see here in the screen, we have the map of Mexico. We have 32 states. And then out of those 32 states, 22 of those have a new approved real estate law. The location in Mexico is in the north. You can see how we have the border with the United States. Then we have the Pacific Ocean in the south. And then in the southeast, we have Guatemala and Belize sharing borders at the same time that the Caribbean islands. Mexico has a very diverse geography. The biodiversity in Mexico is amazing. You can have pretty much everything that you want. You have mountains, you have the coastline, you have desert, you have everything that you can imagine. Mexico has a little bit for every taste. We have different places in Mexico. I heard earlier they were asking where are the expats preferred places. When they are really depends on what you're looking for. If you're going to go there to retire, or if you're going to go there to do a second home, like a lot of people are doing. That's the trend right now, a second home. Or if you want to do more like a business, whether it's short-term rentals or you're going to get with the big boom right now with the nearshoring. We're going to talk about it in just a second. Climate is amazing, and also depends on where you're going. If you go to the south, it's hot and hotter. I just came from there, but it's nice because you have the breeze of the ocean, the breeze of the coastline. In the mountain, it's a little cooler weather. So every state is very different, almost like a different country. If you go to the Riviera Maya, very different to the central Mexico, very different to the Baja California where Daddy is. You can see here, I stole this slide from our friend from AMPI, where all the 22 states that have the approved real estate law. So please, when you're trying to do business in Mexico, if you're not familiar with the laws, if you're not familiar with the process, get with a partner. Get just like Ed does, you know, he does have somebody that he relies to, and she does have a license in Mexico. That's what you need to do. You need to send a referral. It's up to you how involved you want to be, but please just follow the laws. You can tell in the screen there are all the states, and there's still a work in process. This is pretty new, and we just have to follow the law, not only the United States, but always everywhere we go. You have two logos on the screen. The one on the top corner is the AMPI logo that has been the logo for as long as AMPI has been an organization, about 67 years. And on the bottom corner, you see the brand new logo. They actually just revealed this logo in the last summit that was in Puerto Vallarta with which we were present there with a few of our U.S. realtor friends. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what the nearshoring is. I am not an expert in nearshoring, but I can kind of give you a kind of like a big picture of what nearshoring, because this is a concept that you need to be familiar with when you're talking about investment opportunities in Mexico. As most of you should know that we used to have NAFTA, which was the free trade agreement with North America, which is Canada, US, and Mexico. Well, with the administrations of Donald Trump, it was dissolved, and now we have a new trade agreement that's called the USMCA, US, Mexico, Canada, USMCA. And there are a lot of new rules during with that agreement that is opening a lot of business and a lot of more fair business between the countries. One thing that I just say the North America, because something that is very funny that every time I talk and people said North America and Mexico. Well, Mexico is North America. So that is something that I really want you to remember. There are three countries in North America. It's Canada, United States, and Mexico. Okay, so, well, the nearshoring basically is the practice of transferring part of the production or services near to the end user. As you remember, we used to take, United States used to take a lot of the businesses to overseas because it was cheaper to make and then transport it here. However, we saw it with the pandemic, and then we saw how we were having very hard time and difficulty with the getting the product on time. So, and that's why what started happening is all these companies start changing their strategy and bringing those companies closer to the end user. There are two things that we need to remember. Mexico is the closest place to the biggest market in the world, which is United States. So when China and Mexico start having those tensions, when China and United States start having all those tensions between the countries, that's when Mexico is being benefited by all these tensions, because it's opening to its doors, its land to all these companies. And there are many, many different companies that are coming to Mexico, part of the nearshoring, like Mattel, DHL, Tesla, Lego. There are so many companies that are coming to Mexico. You go to Mexico and you're talking about industrial parks, you're talking about warehouses. And what comes with that? It comes with growing cities. And with growing cities, that's when we as professional real estate agents come into, because all these people moving into, all these workers moving into these factories, they need a place to live. And that's where we start getting our business from. I'm gonna see if we can share a little bit of this video. Can you see the video? Not yet?
Screen is blank right now.
Can you see it?
No, it's like a gray background, Brenda.
Okay, I'm gonna share it a different way. It's just a few seconds. You see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
This year as part of that nearshoring boom. That's money from outside the country to build new manufacturing and other facilities. So we actually visited Lego just a short time ago. It's one of the companies investing in Mexico and really leaning in with plans to double production at their site here, with every single block made going directly into the U.S. Tesla, Foxconn, and Unilever, they're just some of the companies that are moving production or expanding production in Mexico this year. The 19% tariffs on Chinese goods and supply chain reliability, they're both key factors for the supply chain shift.
In every sector, we're having these discussions around reshuffling the total supply chain and making sure.
Okay, let me go back to my screen. So as you can see, this is not something that only affects Mexico, but also it comes a lot to do with the business in the United States and how we're going to be able to conduct more business, more referrals. So let me see. Okay. So that is the nearshoring. And also there is, if you're not familiar with, every year NAR comes out with a report. That's the international transaction in the US. And this is mainly residential. There is another one that is commercial, but it's a good idea for everybody to look at it. You guys are in Florida, so Florida takes a big role in the top destinations of foreign buyers. You can see Florida takes, out of all the international buyers, Florida takes 23% of the foreign buyers. Texas, where I am from, is 12% together with California, the top destinations where foreign buyers are coming from. And then you also see the major international buyers in the United States are coming from China, probably will be changing a little bit. Mexico has been increasing every year, Canada, India, and Colombia. So some of the statistics that we should, if you're trying to get into the global business, you need to know these numbers. You need to read these reports that are very, very helpful. And last but not least, I wanted to share with you an invitation that the president of AMPI Acapulco have sent us to all the U.S. Realtors. And let me tell you, we have planned for about 40 to 50 U.S. realtors to come to Acapulco for the Congreso in October 16 to the 18th. As you know, Acapulco suffered for really, really big, devastating hurricane back in October, November last year. They're still recovering from it. So they are really putting all their energy and all the work to make Acapulco look amazing again. And I'm going to put this video here. If you want to go to the Congreso, please contact me. I would like to know who is coming. That way we make sure that we make arrangements so we all stick together, that all the people coming from the United States are welcome and they feel at home. Okay, and I'm gonna share these, and I'm sorry it's gonna be in Spanish, but if you just look at the pictures, that should be good. And let me know if you can see these, okay?
Acapulco está más vivo que nunca y te invita a vivir 3 días de inigualable.
Can you see it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Oh. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't stop it.
Experiencias en el 53º Congreso Nacional Inmobiliario AMPI 2024. Sumérgete en un evento estratégicamente diseñado para fortalecer nuestra industria, elevar la calidad profesional y conectar a los líderes inmobiliarios a nivel nacional e internacional. Mientras disfrutas de las inmejorables playas y sitios de interés, también estarás fomentando la inversión en diversos sectores inmobiliarios. Desde vivienda hasta industria y turismo, el Congreso ofrece capacitación integral y oportunidades para establecer conexiones internacionales entre los asistentes. Desde el 16 al 18 de octubre, se parte de un evento que va más allá de lo convencional, inspirado en el crecimiento y la innovación de la industria inmobiliaria. Acapulco, la perla del Pacífico.
And that's it for me. And if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot it to me, or you can have my information on the screen.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brenda. Does anyone have any questions for Brenda or any of the other panelists?
I will just add to Brenda's deal first on the AMPI Congreso. Last year, we probably had our biggest group of realtors from the United States go. The majority of them were from Houston, and the majority of them were new CIPS designees. The entire time, they were just amazed how friendly all the AMPI members were to the Texans that went down. They all came back with a ton of knowledge. So it's a great way to learn about Mexico real estate and start building some relationships. They all came back with, meeting Yadi, meeting Chris, and just like I did years ago at my first AMPI Congreso, when I think there was 3 of us that were there. But I would encourage all of y'all to go. It's just unbelievable. And, the licensing thing came back up with Brenda. And one of the beauties of having your CIPS is the ability to use referrals and the referral form. And that's a form that I use throughout the world to send clients anywhere. In Mexico, I feel like I'm from Mexico because, man, I've been going there all my life. I am blessed with great friends like Yadi and Chris and all the other developers and brokers over the years that I met. But for me, doing business in Mexico, man, I have found the best developers out there, including the guy that will be speaking to you all next. Man, just the ability to have a relationship like that and to be able to send clients down, man, they take care of everything. And man, the clients come back and they said, man, what a trip. That was easier than what I expected. So how do you do that? You go to AMPI, Congresos. You go on trade missions. If y'all have CIPSs, you're seeing all these trade missions that are advertised on our private CIPS page. I host a bunch of them to Mexico and Belize, and then there's a bunch of other realtors that are doing the same thing. So it's a great way to go learn about where you want to practice real estate and use your CIPS network. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, let me add something too. There are a couple of things. Well, there are a lot of things, but one of the few things that I want to mention that you need to know when doing business in Mexico, and Yadi can help me here. Closing time, that's one of the questions that I get asked a lot. Depends on the transaction, whether it is cash or finance, but it can take anything from 20 to 60 days. There is same than United States, there is an anti-money laundering law that you need to comply with. You have to use a public notary. Here we use the title companies. In Mexico, you use a public notary. A notary in Mexico is usually is a very prestigious position. is an attorney. They are not public notaries in every corner or in every office like we have here in the United States. Very different. You have to either have a bank trust or a permit for the ministry. We talk about that. And somebody asked about MLSs. There are different MLSs that are being implemented in Mexico. AMPI is coming up with one MLS that is called Valores AMPI that I believe is already functioning. They're still working in some ends, but it's called Valores AMPI, and that's their AMPI MLS. I think that covers pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Do we have any questions?
Give us just one moment for the person online.
This is when we should have the mariachi band.
Chris, we were waiting for Yadi and Brenda to dance. Turn on the music and dance. Show us a Mexican dance, right, Chris?
Right.
Well, as you two, I have a question for
Yes.
I have a question for both Brenda and Ed, and we have a global ambassador here. How much time do you spend? You're both of you are in several countries, and we also have Samir Easton, who is with the Brussels, or pardon me, Belgium and the Netherlands. Do you spend a great deal of time in those countries dealing with, because you are a global ambassador for NAR?
It's a very difficult question to answer, but it's not that we give more importance to one country or the other, but countries have different needs. I can tell you, for instance, the 4 countries that I have that are Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. We have pretty good communication with all of them. Mexico is a lot bigger, so yes, it does require a lot of my attention. They call me all the time. I can tell you, I can probably text or email or some kind of communication, WhatsApp, that's what we use the most, pretty much every day with Mexico. Sometimes it's for some quick question, that I have to transfer to NAR. However, there are countries like Honduras, they pretty much do everything themselves. They are pretty much self-efficient. Very few times they come to us for a need or for something that they want NAR to provide. Guatemala and El Salvador, we are in constant communication. We let them do their own thing. They don't have big congressos or big conferences. Not every country has conferences. Sometimes some of the ambassadors help them put together their very first event. Like last year, Alina, I believe it was last year, Alina went and helped them put together in Africa. I cannot remember the country, but it was the first event that they ever hold internationally. So depends on every country, and depends on the commitment of every ambassador. I don't know, Ed, what do you think?
I think Brenda's being very shy with her commitment to Mexico. There's enough opportunity there probably for 4 global ambassadors, and Brenda's doing it all herself. On my countries, all my countries are super small. You add all my countries up together, and they're about 20% of what Mexico is. So my associations, they're super small. They don't host a lot of, congressos / in-person events whatsoever. In fact, I was on the phone with Trinidad and Tobago the other day, and we're trying to help them do an event next year, because they haven't had an in-person event since COVID. So, one thing we didn't talk about, our ambassador associations such as Mexico and Trinidad and Belize, they have the opportunity for their members to become an international realtor member, which allows Yadi to where they are on her deal. And everywhere Yadi goes, she's showing off that realtor pin. I will tell you, she's a great ambassador for the R, and man, she's always wearing it. But it's a really cheap opportunity for them. I think it's $75 per year. Yet a lot of them don't understand the benefits. So right now, as a global ambassador, I'm going to my countries, and Brenda, we did all this a couple of weeks ago. We hosted a webinar to share the benefits of being an international realtor member. And some of these benefits are all benefits that all of y'all have as well, such as getting a free website from NAR. You can create a free website as a member of NAR using Photofy. Photofy is a platform. It's free to all of y'all. And it's also free to international realtor members. And then another opportunity is to have your email at .realtor.com. So they have that ability too. So as a global ambassador, I'm sharing with my associations here's the benefits. Share this with your members, and let's encourage your members to join NAR as an international realtor member. And then what is a reason for them to do that? Well, they can't earn their CIPS unless they're an international realtor member. So right now, I'm in the process. I'm teaching CIPS here starting next week at Metrotex here in Dallas. And Metrotex has allowed me to offer Barbados, Belize, Trinidad, and Tobago the opportunity for their IRMs to take our CIPS classes virtually so they can earn that. But, I don't know how many members are at OMPI. Do you know, Brenda, Yadi?
I believe that about 6,000 to 7,000 total in the entire country.
Yep. So
But members, you're talking about NAR members?
NAR members, or how many realtors are in Mexico?
Yes.
Realtors, they're about 1,000, 1,200.
Okay, you see, like in Belize, to give everybody an understanding, Belize has 100 people that are in the real estate business. Okay, they're not IRMs. Okay, how many IRMs does Belize have? I think we're up to like 8. And Barbados and Belize and Trinidad, it's really about the same number, where Mexico is much, much, much bigger. So I feel my job is to try to be as a global ambassador, we're the liaisons to the other countries that we represent. And my deal is to share the benefits, help them educate their realtor members to practice the same code of ethics. Okay. And at the same time, build relationships where everybody has a trusted partner in these other countries. So I think we both spend a little bit of time every day as a global ambassador. Sometimes for Brenda, she might spend all week on a project from Mexico. So cheers to Brenda.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Martha, I apologize, we do not have our technical assistant available to allow you to ask your question right now. So we will make sure that you get the presenters' email addresses and/or phone numbers so you can reach out to them directly. So anyone online who has any other questions, we'll make sure you have access to that. Okay, moving on. Our next presenter is Chris Gill. He is the Chief Commercial Officer for Simca Real Estate. Carlos was born in England and became an expat at a very young age. living and working on 3 continents. And after graduating in 1997 with a degree in international business and hotel administration, he started his career in a vacation club holding various positions. In 2002, he founded Orange State, a real estate company in Spain, assisting foreign clients with their property investments. He returned to the hotel industry in 2005, working for a major resort group in Mexico, and transitioned to their real estate division in 2009. Currently, Chris is a multitask entrepreneur, serving as the CCO for Simca Developments, managing director in Mexico for Nest Seekers International, and CEO of RefNWin, an AI-based app facilitating global real estate transactions. Let's welcome Chris Gill.
Hi, thank you. That is probably the best introduction I ever heard. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for having the interest in such a beautiful country, which is Mexico, full of opportunities. And as Brenda said before, full of diversity. You definitely do find the specific product for every single need within the real estate market. I'm just quickly sharing my email address and my Instagram, Real Chris Gill, and pretty much you did an amazing introduction. So let's go ahead and talk about the phenomenon of the moment, which is Southeast Mexico. This is the area I represent with great pride. It's huge. It has one of the biggest population growth in the country, growth in infrastructure, and of course, tourism demand. But why? Why are people raving about Southeast Mexico? Well, we're talking about huge cities, from the colonial city of Mérida all the way through to the hot tourism corridor of Cancun, and of course, the heaven destinations for amazing beaches, which are Playa del Carmen and Tulum. Today, we're talking about a destination that has amazing accessibility, and this is important to understand, even to identify the possible clients that you may have in the database actively seeking for a property outside of the US. Well, let me tell you, data says 1 of every 10 buyers in your database are actively seeking to invest and diversify their assets outside of the US. And this is a very, very strong destination. I repeat, accessibility. We have an international airport that hosts more than 170 direct flights throughout the world. So if you have a direct flight heading to Cancun, chances are you definitely have clients in your database. But also weather, gastronomy, cost of life, and of course, services and amenities are some of the features that people find very, very attractive at the time of visiting or investing in a foreign country. So let's go a bit more deeper into what happened exactly in this destination. I call it the path of progress, the corridor of progress. But if we look at the numbers and the track history of the destination itself, we're talking about 1974, which is when Cancun started to sound around the world. It was literally born and established, and it literally grew all the way up to 1 million inhabitants today in population. 1993, we have Playa del Carmen. It was previously called Chaminade. Now imagine jumping from 1993 to today, from 10,000 to just south of 400,000 inhabitants, to a point where Playa del Carmen in 2014 was the fastest growing city in the world. But by 2016, funny enough, Tulum, which is the next destination, was also the fastest growing city in the world. And that is where the growth is today. And what this kind of data shows us is the timing is now. Okay, they had a great leadership from the path in Cancun, great vertical buildings, pretty much a Latin style Miami, let's call it that way, but growth went south into more sustainable destination, more focus in green, more focus in family. And of course, Tulum today is one of the hottest spots in the world, to a point where Ed was talking about short-term vacation rental. We loving it, of course we do. Tulum was in 2018, the #1 destination for Airbnb users in the world. So path of progress is very, very important. Also, it's important to understand what happened after COVID, all the new trends that appeared after COVID. And not only in this part of Mexico, where Jadi is in Cabos, we also find this reaction, but people are seeking for better life quality. So everything to do with retirement, relocation, and luxury real estate boomed in our destinations. So if you've got clients seeking to retire in Mexico, remember we are the #1 destination in the world for US retirees and Canadian retirees, then we can certainly help you because we got the knowledge, we got the experience, we have the lawyers, and we got absolutely all the services and tools we need to make sure relocation and retirement is a very smooth process within this country. Then tons of digital nomads. Digital nomads discovered in Mexico a destination that allowed them to become free in such difficult moments. But of course, all these digital nomads forced a lot of people that didn't know Mexico to jump into Mexico and discover how much they loved it. That's why our tourism has boomed straight after COVID. We got tons of digital nomads that are becoming great buyers. Definitely they're investing for other digital nomads, but also as a passive income clients. They are renting more than 2 weeks for sure, which was the average occupation, 2 weeks. Now digital nomads are renting for 3-4 months a year, and they pay in vacation rental rates, which is great. We have net returns all the way from 6 to 9% net a year in some of our investment property, thanks to this new trend, which is digital nomads. No travel restrictions, of course, opened the doors to many markets around the world that today discovered, as I say, this new destination and are returning. We have a very attractive return ratio in the airport of Cancun. Today, we are looking into 29 million tourists visiting by the end of the year, and 24% are repetitive clients. So ask the question, have you been to Mexico before? If the answer is yes, then probably you got a buyer there to refer all the way to Mexico. 24% of all the tourists that come in through International Airport of Cancun end up pretty much not only returning for a second, but a third time and investing into their own condo. So this is very important too. So what do we get when we have great demographic growth and we got high tourism demand, great return of investment? It's outperforming. The growth of population, the growth, demographic growth gives us capital gains, appreciation on the value of the property. People are demanding properties and it's being built to a point, and I'm probably jumping into slide number 6, but we are the 4th largest growing real estate market today in the world. And of course, tourism demand is all about the short-term rental vacation. So properties raising value very fast in this last year, but as well, we are generating great passive income that is allowing, as I said before, pay off the cost of the condo, most importantly, generate positive profits. Let's not forget the great relationship between USA and Mexico. And this is something that not everybody knows, but you can use. We are an IRA friendly, thanks to the NAFTA agreement. The commercial treaty between US, Canada, and Mexico allows many US buyers to acquire property in Mexico through the self-directed IRA. So this is an important thing because people can actually buy properties outside of the US with a self-directed IRA. Another feature which is very attractive compared to other global destinations, and don't get me wrong, I have investments myself in Malaga, Portugal. The reality is that Mexico is one of the very few global destinations where you can invest in a property and you do not pay double taxation. So whatever forms of tax you pay in Mexico stays in Mexico, and you don't need to pay the same tax back at home like you would do in certain destinations of Europe, where you would have to pay property tax down in Lisbon, for example, and I have to pay for that same property tax back in the US. This does not happen in Mexico. And I think one of the biggest features of this is at the time of reselling a property, flipping over a property, in Mexico, we do have, like Ed said, very, very, very attractive and flexible laws in the sense of if your property meets certain requirements, whereas your first property, it's below approximately, Jadi can correct me, but about 250 to 300,000 US dollars is below that value, then you get exempted from paying capital gain tax, and you take this exemption back to the US and you don't pay for the capital gain tax back in the US either for this property, as long as the funds stay within Mexico. It's important. Other terms, other taxes may apply once you decide to bring the equity back to the US, okay? But definitely not to do with property tax. And permanent residency. As I said before, when you acquire a property in Mexico, you immediately, literally within 30 to 60 days, become a resident in Mexico. And once you jump into the permanent residency, then you have access to private medical insurance. I repeat, the same company that takes care of you in the US takes care of you here, and is actually more inexpensive. So retirees love this feature. We have other sort of benefits as not paying the capital gain tax at the time of flipping over a property under certain circumstances. So we'll be happy to share all these benefits thanks to this great relationship. Another feature, and I love talking about global real estate, that's why I love so much my brother, but another feature you have to look into is as well the latest news. What are the large corporations doing? And this is just what's happening in the last 2 years in Southeast Mexico. So great firms as Nickelodeon has opened a brand new resort, as well as the Waldorf Astoria has opened new resorts. People may know big brands like Sam's Club, Cirque du Soleil, but the reality is, if we think about it, 5 years ago, we didn't have a Sam's Club or an H&M. So all these big retail firms are only just jumping into the destination. And remember, commercial real estate certainly gives value into residential real estate. So that's why the opportunity is there. And big firms make investments when things are right, things feel right, and that's why it's good always to keep an eye on what they do. We have the first permanent Cirque du Soleil in entire Latin America. So yes, just like Vegas, we got shows pretty much every day going on in Playa del Carmen with Cirque du Soleil. And like that, DreamWorks has announced investment in land. So you never know, more theme parks on the way. But like Ed said already, we do have one of the best theme parks in the world, which is Xcaret, and certainly very, very recommended when you come down and enjoy. So new companies jumping in, big infrastructure. So we got the brand new train that's just working in the last few months, brand new international airport in Tulum, allowing more access of more tourists seeking go further south into Quintana Roo, which is our state, the Mexican Caribbean, and a lot of fun. And trust me, there is a lot of fun, and that's what's making this percentage of repetitive clients coming back once. You may come for 2 weeks, and you haven't done it all. You need to come back. And that's kind of the feeling you get when you visit Playa del Carmen or Cancun. So yes, 4th place in the world with the highest real estate growth at present. Great branded firms such as such as SLS in Miami is already building in the destination luxury real estate. Big US brands are jumping in. So it's definitely very, very interesting because it does create that trust feature. When foreign buyers, when US buyers jump into Mexico, they recognize the firms that they see back home, then obviously the process can be easier and transactions come in faster. Today, we are the #1 spot in the world for the highest quality of life. And this is mentioned by expatriates in Condé Nast. So yes, expats have chosen Mexico as one of the #1 in the world for the best quality, life quality. So it's important to understand that it's not about just the food, but it's the air, it's the ocean, and most importantly, the culture. Mexicans have a heart that does not fit their chest. And trust me, they're amazing hosts when you're an expat just moving into the country. So let me invite you to the opportunity of offering your buyers a 2-step investment. I repeat, tourism demand represents rental income, and passive income has turned into very, very attractive figures between 6 to 12% gross, which turns into more or less 30% less of this number, so all the way up to 9% net, and that's paying off all the cost of the property, is the kind of income that some high performance investment properties being developed in the area are showing, even in times after COVID. And population growth. We've grown 410% in the last 17 years. And that, of course, has given us great appreciation all the way up to 28% a year in new developments. This is important to understand. Property specs, properties that have already been delivered and built, we're looking into 10 to 12% a year still. So this is kind of the numbers people are seeing in Riviera Maya. And why live, right? I mean, let me tell you why your clients, I mean, based on these bullet points, it's so easy to identify your clients that could be interested in investing in any part of Mexico. I mean, the reality is it's a good spot right now to look into. Very easy to access. Very versatile destination for all ages, diversity, Brenda was saying. We got diversity of natural, features such as the 2nd largest coral reef in the world after Australia. People don't know that. We have the 2nd largest coral reef in the world. Theme parks, underground rivers. The reality is we have so much to do, people simply come back and buy. 90% of the year, sunny weather, cost of living very accessible. So you guys know the property tax back in the US. If I tell you we got 0.1% a year, which means $1 million property only pays $1,000 of property tax a year, then that opens up the opportunity even to investors, because when I have a very, very high productive investment with such a low maintenance cost, the gap in between is called profit, and that's what we all looking for at the time of investing in global destinations. Easy to communicate in English. Everybody in tourism destinations in Mexico speak English. Pretty much 95% of the people speak English. And this is good, because when you're doing a global transaction, people speak your language, well, it kind of feels better, you know, and you understand thoroughly what you're going or what you're diving into. Gastronomy, well, I love gastronomy. So any place I go in the world where the food is amazing, trust me, I'll go again. And gastronomy in Mexico speaks out for itself. So that's pretty much it. We got a huge, sorry, that's in Spanish, the last bullet point, my bad, but we got a huge expat community of US and Canada right now. And expat communities are very, very attractive, because at the end of the day, you can feel back at home in certain areas of the city where all the expats get together to spend the weekend, or simply to watch a soccer match or American football match. But when you want to fuse in with locals, then you got those spots as well, and you learn from another culture. So that's the beauty about having so many expats that have been through the process in the past. And we have access to a lot of them that have invested in the area, and they'll be happy to share their experience with you and your clients. So finishing up the presentation today, and I hope I'm within my 15 minutes because I do love to talk, is why invest, okay? So it's all about living, but it's well about investing. And the reality is today we're on the top 5 locations in the world for vacation destinations. So we are one of the top spots for tourism around the globe today. And I repeat, that only brings in new people into the destination and a lot of passive income to those buyers of investment condos. Cancun and Riviera Maya were recognized as the #1 tourism destinations within Mexicans. So just the 2 points. First 2 points are telling me that around the world, we're in the top 5, but Mexico's confirmed that Riviera Maya today is one of the favorite spots as well. So these are 2 of the most important markets for us, and definitely they're looking into us. The number of tourists has grown drastically. I mean, we jumped from 18 million tourists a year to 29 million tourists a year in less than 3 years. And this is because Cancun International Airport decided to open Terminal 4, which was as big as Terminal 1, 2, and 3 all together. And today, Terminal 4, just a year and a half after it's open, it's already building an expansion because we got just too many tourism flying in. And that's why we jumped over pretty much 11 million tourists in just 3 years. Attractive destination for short-term vacation rental, as Ed said, and our hotel occupancy has been very healthy, especially after COVID, in an average of 90% a year. So when hotels are got this kind of occupation, we know that if we're looking into buying investment opportunities, rental vacation is around 65%. And that 65% occupation in vacation rental properties is throwing, I repeat, 6 to 9% net a year. It's what I call the perfect 2-step investment. So we're looking into appreciation, we're looking into passive income, okay? One last strategy for you to advise to your clients, I repeat, is new developments. If you do the right due diligence process, like Ed and Brenda and Jadi said, find the right partner in Mexico, you can access early stage developments that are on pre-sale with only 30% down. You put the 30% down, you go into that appreciation of 28%, doubling pretty much the equity that you have on your down payment, and then just flip over the property or take possession, and of course, start enjoying that passive income. So 2-step stages, 2-step investment is the way to go in Riviera Maya for sure, for these 2 features. And well, I don't want to go too further into the presentation, so I prefer to leave it, stop here, and maybe listen to some of the questions, but I'll be very happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. We really appreciate you taking time to be with us today.
Well,
All
thank
right,
you.
we have some questions, it looks like, for you, Beth. Do you need a visa if you stay longer than 6 months?
You don't need a visa in Mexico as a US citizen, but you will need to apply for residency if you desire to stay on a longer, or simply take a flight to Miami, which is 1 hour away, and fly back. And then you got another 6 months for you. Go ahead, $200 to renew your visa and go shopping during the weekend. I mean, there are many ways you can go over that. I'm not getting any audio, just,
The question, we don't have the other microphone in the room, so I apologize.
oh, don't worry.
Paula is asking that if you take a permanent residency in Mexico, do you have to give up citizenship in another country?
No, it's not a visa, it's a permit, as its name says. So consequently, the only thing you're gonna get out of the permit is you're not gonna have a minimum requirement or a limit to stay within the country. You can come in and out and you don't lose your status in Mexico and definitely do not affect your original status back in the US.
Can I
Okay,
add something
fantastic.
really quick?
Sure.
The residency is one thing, citizenship is another thing. Now,
Correct.
United States would not allow to have two
A Mexican
citizenships.
passport.
You will have to give up your US citizenship in order to get citizenship in Mexico. However, I have tons of friends that are US citizens and they are Mexican residents. So just
Yes.
wanted to you know.
That's the way to go. The
clarify that.
residency gives you all the benefits of the Mexican without affecting your original status.
Correct.
I'm trying to guess what the question is. This could be a
We're-
game.
We got a microphone for her, so go ahead and start again. Go ahead and give it to her. Now, do you have that? Is that working?
Hello?
Yes.
No, I'm just explaining that the US allows for as many citizenship as you want, no problem. The only thing is if you are a US citizen, among other citizenships, and you want to enter the US, you have to enter with your US passport. They don't allow you to enter the US with your French passport, for example. You know what I mean? That's it. Otherwise, you don't never have to give up your US citizenship to get another one. I mean, I myself have 2 passports. The lady here has 3.
That is a
So
little
you're
different.
allowed.
That is a little different. I do have double citizenship, but not because US allow me to do that. It's because in Mexico, the Constitution says that if you are born in Mexico, you will die Mexican. So that's why I have that citizenship. And in US will accept that. However, if you were born in the US and you want to get a citizenship in another country, you do have to give up your US citizenship.
That's important. So
But-
if you're born in the US, you get affected by this law.
Exactly. If you are born in another country and you have 3 citizenships, it's different. But if you are born in the US, you know, better to talk to a immigration lawyer, but get those clarified.
Any other questions at this point? What I'm going to do right now, before we have our final questioning of all our wonderful panelists, is introduce a lady that has come over from Orlando to join us. And we're so pleased to have Rose Kemp. Rose is Mexican from her background, and we're so thrilled that she is a brand new president of their, if I pronounce it properly, it's ORA, it's Orlando Regional Realtor Association. So we'd like to have Rose just say a couple of words for us.
Thank you for having me here today as a guest. This is such a great presentation. Global means a lot to the Orlando area. As you all know, we are very global. You no longer need to go to Epcot. Just come to Orlando, make some friends. You're like in Epcot. Mexico is very dear and near to my heart. I was born in what I like to say, Los Angeles, Mexico, because obviously our culture there is very strong. When I moved to Florida 27 years ago, I swear I was the only Mexican in Orlando. And quite fascinating because post-COVID, post the lockdown, oh my gosh, like people from California are coming, people from Texas are coming, people from Utah. There's so many people that are Mexican coming to Orlando. So it's really neat for me to see that because it just wasn't happening. And when people say, what's your favorite Mexican restaurant? It's Mom's house because Mom relocated to Orlando as well. With that being said, the Orlando Regional Realtor Association is comprised of over 20,000 members. We're the 7th largest association in the country, the 3rd largest, the 3rd largest here in Florida, although there was a merger, so I don't know if that's still the case, but one of the largest ones. And so We have a lot of work on our plate. And also we have an extremely global market in Orlando, which is why the Global Council in Orlando is so extremely important. We currently have, our Global Council has been in existence for the last 7 years. Many of you guys might know Zola. He's one of the founders of the Global Council. And also, we have 270 current members on our council. So it's the largest one that we have in Orlando because it is super, super important to understand other cultures, not just for those that are coming to purchase in Florida and understanding their needs, but also understanding the needs among the other countries such as Mexico today. Aura has received the NAR Diamond Award in 2018 and most recently every 2 years. So we have retained a Diamond Status Award with NAR since 2018. Our last month, we discussed Spain right before the big Spain trip. I didn't have the pleasure of going to that, but I know some of your members here did. I know the Cashis were there. And thank you to the Cashis. Thank you to Lori specifically for inviting me to be here today. It's been a pleasure traveling with them and doing conferences and whatnot and making friends with our realtor family across the state. And tomorrow we actually have a global event, educational event like you do today about doing business in France. And so just like your association is open arms and welcoming to me and other members from across the state to be able to attend your global sessions, we are the same in Orlando. So feel free to go to the Orlando Regional Realtor Association website and you can find what upcoming events we have and trips and whatnot. Last but not least, I just want to say that Mexico, viva Mexico, amo Mexico, hablo español. Is there anybody else Mexican in this room? Ah, bienvenida, ¿de dónde? Michoacán. Funny thing, of all the states in Mexico, that's where my father's from. My mother is from Sinaloa. If any of you guys ever heard of Mazatlan, Sinaloa, or El Chapo, that's where my mom's from, actually. And what's really cool about Mexico, I want to say, because I grew up going every single year to Mexico. Again, yes, Los Angeles, Mexico. But the cool thing is no matter where you go in Mexico, and I was explaining this to Lori earlier today, every state is so uniquely different. Yes, we all have the piñatas and the tacos and the tequila and the fiestas. But at the end of the day, every state, no matter where you go, is going to have its uniqueness to it, whether it's culturally, rituals, cooking styles, specialties, dialects, accents, and lifestyles, just like here in America. So I think I'm really proud to say that Cinco de Mayo is celebrated across America every year. It's such a big deal, right? And every Tuesday is Taco Tequila Tuesday as well. So we are a loved culture, so I'm proud of that. And I'm also here very excited to say that I am the first Hispanic to be installed in my association who's been in existence for 103 years. And I'm proud to say, yes, I am of Mexican heritage. So I get that Hispanic prize right there. Our president-elect is actually from Panama. We are both bilingual. And so I just welcome you all to come and visit Orlando. I'm accessible. If you have any questions, need anything from me, or just need a translator, I'm here for you. Viva Mexico!
Thank you so much. And I want to thank Rose, thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. And all of our speakers. It's just been a fabulous day. And I know other people will be reaching out. All of our members will be getting the emails, addresses of you folks. And thank you again for making such a special day for us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all of our attendees as well. Bye-bye.